Welcome to the bunker.
Preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, homesteaders, and the like. Welcome to Top's Bunker, a podcast for preppers. Email shtf@topsbunker.com, website topsbunker.com. Please check the show notes in your podcast player for a link to help support the show. There you'll find valuable products and gear and extra info on this episode. Also, please visit and join Top's Bunker Facebook group. You'll love the interaction with other preppers and like-minded folks. I want to thank y'all for joining us. We got a great show for you. Tonight, we're talking with special guest Dave from Pennsylvania. Dave is a master prepper survivalist with a wide range of useful skills to bring to the table, and we're excited to bring him back as a recurring subject matter specialist. Now, Buddy has named this episode Trump Bingo, which is, I guess, appropriate, but I'd rather call it Trump Roulette. Either way you look at it, it does appear that President Trump has a lot of irons in the fire. From deportations to the economy, Venezuela to the Middle East, and Russia, China, and the radical left watching every move that he makes. President Trump is running the United States of America exactly how he promised, putting America first over the rest of the world. It's why the majority of American voters elected him. And in doing so, in my opinion, of course, is reshaping the entire world in the process. Some of you listening right now may disagree with me, and that's great. If you're an American, that's not only great, it's your right, privilege, and even your duty as an American to do so. The right to have an opinion and voice that opinion openly without fear is powerful. There are many places in this world of ours that don't allow it. The power behind that opinion, that voice, can sway others to see things differently. And then, all of a sudden, those voices turn into votes. Precious votes that hold real power to make change. It may come as a surprise to many of you, but Jeremy, Buddy, Rhonda, myself, and our guests, we don't always see eye to eye on topics, especially politics. But the one thing we all agree on is America first. For far too long now, weak leaders have turned our country into a stomping ground for illegal immigration, drug and sex trafficking, woke ideology, and the radical left agenda to get and hold the power and control us into submission like sheep. They've taken our immense wealth in the form of taxpayer dollars and they've squandered it by distributing it around the world to gain political power and personal wealth for themselves and their friends. So when President Trump says America first, he's not saying that America is better than every other country. He's saying that America is more important to Americans than every other country. When America becomes weak, all the people of the world become weak by attrition. By making America great again, the world becomes great again through shared strength. Trump is using American might and power to go after the criminals, the oppressors, the evil dictators, the terrorists. You don't have to like him, and you certainly don't have to agree with him. But when Trump takes actions like other leaders won't or can't, and in some way, shape, or form makes your life a little better, you damn well better thank him for it. And while you're at it, thank those of us who voted him into office. But look, this episode is about Trump Roulette. That is, spinning that great big wheel of power every day and going after whatever or whoever it lands on. Do you think he's gambling? Let's discuss it.
All right. Well, we've had an exciting weekend. I think everybody woke up Monday morning and looked at the news and was very surprised. I mean, I had kind of the same thing going this morning with a tornado where I live, but it seems like the world is a tornado at the moment. I mean, just the last few days. So, just looking at everything that's going on in the world, it's time to play Trump bingo. I mean, what's Trump's next move? I mean, we can all put our bingo cards out there. I mean, is it Greenland? Is it Colombia? Cuba? Could it be Panama? What about Mexico? Is Mexico on your card? There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, like, you know, the Iranian protests. We got Ukraine still going on. Syria. There's some stuff going on in Syria and Iraq. Palestine is an ongoing thing with Israel. I mean, now we've got a shooting in an ice shooting in Minnesota. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there to talk about and how it affects us in the prepper world. We just need to peel back that onion and look. But I thought that this would be a good episode to pull out our bingo cards and play some Trump bingo. All right. So tonight we have on Dave. Dave is he's one of our old time listeners. I say old time. He's part of our listeners from the beginning, and been active on Facebook page, off Facebook site. We have a lot of chat rooms going. Very productive out there. He was part of the collection team that you might have heard in the previous podcasts that we've had. He's a very valuable part of that collection team, and just an all-around awesome guy who's very, let's just call it, he's an OSINT collecting individual who is basically right on point with a lot of things. And he was a vital part of our collection team. And we're a bunch of amateur collectors, just, for FYI. But it seems like sometimes we call him Father Time, because he's kind of the glue in there that, we started getting kind of crazy and, pulling things out of the sky. He's there to, be the voice of reason for us. So
there's a whole lot of pulling things out of the sky.
Lately, yes.
Sometimes on signal. Because I'm a fly on the wall. You guys barely see me talk until I actually say something, but I'm watching, I'm reading everything. There's a lot of stuff that's like, whoa, that's interesting.
There's some guys on there that are professional collection guys. I mean, these guys are professional intel guys, and they'll reach out to me and go, "What the fuck, man?" So
they find a lot of stuff, man.
Well, good and bad. I mean, a lot of times the feedback I've got from that little chat room that we have is like, wow, I didn't know that. And, I'm actually pulling good stuff from your guys. So kudos to, everybody. And I have to say, we've gotten better over time. Our sources our sources are better vetted. We're pulling from not only, Fox News, like everybody, are like-minded individuals. So we're pulling from other areas and taking other vantage points. And yesterday was a prime example when I just happened to look down on my phone. It was, extremely busy day for me. Looked down on my phone and, man, it was blowing up about the shooting. And, man, it got spicy there for a little while. Everybody had their opinions and standing by it and stuff. But that's what we want. We want, debate. There wasn't any name calling. There wasn't any, bullshit going on.
Well, sure. And we bring a lot of this to the podcast for the Prepper Survivalist, because, I mean, Minneapolis, for all intents and purposes, should have exploded last night. I'm thankful that it didn't. When these things happen, these people go out and burn down cities.
Well, the one of the things that, I don't know if you guys heard, but that was within a mile of the George Floyd thing.
Was it really?
From yesterday.
Wow.
So it was that close.
It was close. So, you're right. I mean, that's a great point that I didn't really think about. And it was peaceful last night, but will it be tonight? So,
I guess once those agent provocateurs get into town, the people that aren't from there, when they get in town to start the trouble, that's when we're going to find. But I saw some video just before we got on. It's why I was a few minutes late. ICE has ramped up their. I mean, they've got hundreds of ICE agents out there in front of their facility.
Yes, and I'm going to say I have from a very reliable source that Antifa, and they're watching the Antifa channels, Antifa is heading that way. And they're not your normal stand in front of the ICE building with giraffe suits on and cosplay out there, with bullhorns and stuff.
No, they bring the Molotov cocktails. They bring the bats. They bring the bricks.
These are the brown shirts, so to speak.
There's been a couple occasions when there's firearms.
Yes. Down in Dallas, Texas, that happened on July 4th.
Yep.
And so they've already threatened the guy. They go, "We know who you are." Who's eating with the plastic?
Exactly. I was about to say, I hear snacks. I hear somebody's I hear someone speaking my language right now.
Right. The love language.
Okay, I'll admit it. I just peeled the label off my bottle of scotch so I could open it quietly.
Oh, it wasn't a snack.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Now, Dave, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you a PAI OSINT, like actually officially trained, or are you more more on the private side?
I'm on the private side, but I do have some background in intelligence. But the thing with me is, and what kept me from getting into trouble, even with Buddy there, is the fact that I have a saying, and I think I posted it today. Take A, take B, and see your way through it. You know, I try very hard not to shut down on the first things that pop up. And I dig and I dig and I dig. And if I get focused on something, everybody gets mad at me because I, kind of turn everybody off until I find what I need to validate it, which is why I didn't say a whole lot about the shooting, because I know there was more footage that we hadn't seen yet. But I also supported the fact, somebody said about the left being so willing to pick anything to tear us apart. And I think the whole thing, it's just division. And Waltz, that boy's in some deep doo-doo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His words are very much of that of if it was from us, I would say it was a patriot. But from what he's done and where he's at, yeah, it's an insurrection. And he's, like somebody else said, he's really drawing at strings.
But he's protected.
He is not protected right now.
You don't
think?
Is
he really?
I do not think he's protected. I think he's in so much hot water. That's why he canceled himself running again.
Yeah, he's not running again.
He knows he's buried.
Now, here's the thing, though. Vernacular versus action. He can give an auditory warno, as he said, or a fragmentary order, and he can do anything verbally he so chooses. If he writes an order and actually activates his state guard, then there's a gray line that he's traveling right now, and not to say that it's a good thing, but he's actually done it quite professionally. So, have you ever met like a person who called quote unquote leader who does things that are always on that line, like they're on the line of you're in deep crap, or I can still get away with this by him just
like Trump.
saying, yeah. So like him saying it, that's one thing. And in my opinion, he said it in order to cause because he caused a whole bunch of big stir. Now everybody's talking about it. He may have done that on purpose.
Well, do you feel that's misdirection?
I was going to say, I think it's misdirection. I think he's putting up some flags so that people are purposely looking at that instead of what he's in the hot water for.
Well,
the Somali thing is bad.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think, I personally think he comes across, and this is just my own personal feeling, gut feeling really, is that he's an idiot. So what I'm asking you guys is, do you think he's doing all this stuff on his own, or is he being coaxed?
No, he has handlers, and he has a pretty decent legal team as far as I can tell.
I would say it's probably somewhere between an 80-20 mix of being coached, maybe 90-10, and then him still trying to be that fake lying ass wannabe that he claimed to be. That's, so because he's already been caught in a series of lies while he was running for president or vice president. And those lies have caught up to him. And now you have the Somalia issue. He's trying to pull away from that. Well, if he's already said that he's not running again, and he needs to be able to act as the tough guy coming out of his this governorship, he's going to do stuff in order to create a facade of, I'm the tough governor and I'm not going to put up with, orange man bad. That's kind of how I see it.
Jeremy, give that dog a bone. What you doing?
I have.
It's like every episode now is good. We should just put on here featuring Jeremy's dog.
On
every episode.
So
a mascot. We got a mascot.
It's so ridiculous, dude. in the evening, he becomes extremely hypervigilant, and that's the big male. And
I think he heard you talking about walls and wants some meat. He wants some bite.
Probably, I don't know. That's kind of gamey, but anyway, again,
well, look, going back to what you just said, though, I want to add this in. Walls should be worried right now, in my opinion. He should be worried right now about not being put in jail for what has happened in his state. That's what I feel.
He's making himself.
And I think
a martyr.
the hammer's coming down. I think
he's making that martyrdom. He's trying to make himself into a martyr, and he'll go down. And the only reason why he's going down for whatever he's about to go down for is because the Orange Man bad, Trump derangement stuff. Leave that of it out to me, whatever.
He could also be a martyr in order to protect whatever, with the chick that married her brother,
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah. And Ocasio-Cortez, because Ocasio-Cortez, who is quite literally one of the dumbest human beings on planet Earth, came out and said that this was a murder, all these things.
She's out of Chicago, right?
New York.
And
she's New York.
She is a fake New Yorker. Do not let anyone convince you that she is the next Jenny from the block. She is not. She is a punk ass liar.
And she slept her way to where she's at.
Oh man, our ratings are going up or down. One of the two.
Well, no, you're right. They can only go up. So,
hey, before we get too far, Russia just launched a whole bunch of missiles into Ukraine.
Again.
Yeah, it happened at 5 o'clock, a little after 5. They launched Orsnik IRBM struck in Lviv in western Ukraine. Several powerful explosions were heard in the city, which has been confirmed by the mayor of Lviv, or Viv, however they pronounce that. I'm not very good at Russian and Ukrainian. I have a couple of my things that I'm able to get on here up and running, so I can watch a little bit while we're yakking.
No, that's awesome. That's one of the reasons why you're on, Dave.
Well, and here's another live update. Walz authorizes National Guard to stage support in the event that they are needed.
Okay.
So he is that stupid.
He's Mr. Magoo, man.
That's what I'm saying. So I've got so here's my thing. Can his National Guard fight federal agents like ICE or
no
the guard being brought in from someplace else?
No.
So there is a litany. There is a litany of things that are going to end up happening. And if President Trump so inclines, which is within his authority, he can federalize the entirety of the National Guard, Army, and Air in that state. And by doing so, basically, and I don't know if I'm even going to say this correctly because I could be wrong, but I may not be. So let's just say Tim Walz is actually going to do this, which would be the stupidest thing that he could do. President Trump federalizes the entirety of the National Guard, and they actually arrest Walz under the Insurrection Act. That is entirely possible if they are given the authority of posse comitatus for violation of the actual Constitution. Title 32 is state authority. Title 10 is federal authority.
Okay, so this is genius, and this is the 5D or 8D chess. And I saw a bunch of guys explain this earlier. They've gone out and said, okay, well, you can't federalize the troops for police force unless this happens. Well, okay, the National Guard. I'm going to say you can't do the National Guard and federalize them for this. They've gone to court. They've won things. That's why he started pulling people out of the city of Chicago, some of the LA, some of these places he's been in. Well, look what happened on January 1st. What National Guard program all of a sudden popped up overnight that had been talked about? Well, he went into every state has a quick reaction force. He created this, right, and authorized it. So now at his disposal, he has these quick reaction forces, right? So depending on like Jeremy said, depending on the coding of the actual orders, Title 10, Title 32, then they're activated accordingly. Now, I'm going to back the onion a little bit further. So they won a lot of these things in court. All right. They won where, you can't bring in another state's National Guard. You can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, great. And it's all in red states. But Trump still has the Marines. He still has the 82nd Airborne. He has his own federal troops. So if Walz does, and I'm going to throw another wrinkle in this, Walz does stand up the National Guard to protect him or protect, whatever he's protecting, the citizens or whatever. I've been in the National Guard formation. Okay. When you're looking to the left and the right of you, what do you see? You're seeing a cross section of what society looks like in your area, in your state. And that, usually people don't drive across states to go into the units. Well, when you look into formation, there's a large percentage of those guys that are guys and gals that are law enforcement already. So you think they're going to go out and arrest another law enforcement agent, especially a federal agent? They're going to have a conflict of interest.
Well, let me dig a little bit deeper into this. So, on the surface, of course, a lot of titles for articles are, they're big and scary. So I dug a little bit deeper here. It says Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has authorized the Minnesota National Guard to stage and be ready to support local law enforcement in the aftermath of the shooting of Renee Nicole Good.
Yeah, I just read that too.
The troops will be staged and ready to support local and state law enforcement in protecting critical infrastructure and maintaining the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. This is in case there are riots. He's saying they remain ready in the event they are needed to keep the peace, ensure public safety, and allow for peaceful demonstrations.
So he's being proactive for a George Floyd riot situation. Yeah, and that's all he can do.
It says, this is crazy. I mean, this is insane. This is insanity. 1 hour ago, Philly District Attorney Krasner warns ICE who comes to commit crimes, you can get the F out of here. And he was quoted saying, if any law enforcement agency, any ICE agent is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in a state or federal court, blah, 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 blah. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military? And again, why isn't this person being arrested for inciting insurrection?
He has no power to do that shit. He's a fucking mayor.
This guy is a DA.
That's even worse.
I know.
Fuck him. Fuck him.
We may have to do some editing on this one.
Oh, maybe.
And you can get the blankety blank and the blah blah beep beep.
I ain't blankety blanking nothing out.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, but it's everywhere.
You won't keep your own streets clean. You won't. Philly. I mean, who goes to Philly? And having a fellow or somebody from PA here could back me up on this thing. Nobody goes to Philly. You don't go there for vacation because you can get your ass handed to you and robbed, and you can step on fentanyl. And
I went to Philly. I went to go see the Liberty Bell and all that, and I had a knife tucked in behind my belt buckle. So when they wanted me going into the Liberty Bell, they thought it was my belt buckle. And I had a pair of nylon knuckles stashed in my belt. And I had several freedom seeds loaded in my gun that was in my truck. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is nobody wants to go there anymore because it's a shithole, city. The guy he's going to get tough and be a man and stand out there and talk shit about, ICE agents and National Guard and active Marines and Army guys and stuff. But what's he doing now to keep the damn criminals off the streets, to protect his own citizens?
I think that's why he was activating the National Guard in support of local law enforcement. I'm looking at it from, the idiot point of view, that maybe that's what he's doing. I know better. You guys know better. But maybe that's what he's trying to push so that people will behave.
The optics are how I reacted. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I reacted like everybody else is going to react.
But that's how they want.
That's what they want you to react.
Exactly.
So in the if you were to dig a little bit deeper, if you think about the players that are involved and the position on the board that we're in right now, everything that's happened, say for instance, all these different liberals and the Democrats are saying by ICE and federal agents going in and detaining people who are unlawfully here. It's the ICE agents that are committing a crime, and they're spinning people up and they're getting them emotionally, off kilter.
What he's going to do is get more people killed.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, what are they really trying to achieve? What is the end state? And in my opinion, I think that they are trying to cause so much division, so much anger, and everything like that. They're trying to push people who are patriots and who are, on the right, who are fed up and sick and tired of it, to start doing what they
Stupid
shouldn't.
stuff.
Stupid stuff. They need people, because they don't care whether or not people actually get killed. Democrats and liberals, they don't care. And
No, but they're trying to egg us on.
right.
And as long as we don't take the bait, we're good.
And this one woman here, I can't even believe she's from Texas. She should be expelled from my state. Representative Jasmine Crockett. This woman she is, anyway. The title of this one says, Crockett says Trump admin is bringing crime to Minneapolis. How, right? How in the wide world of sports is us, like the right or Trump or whomever, how you want to state that, trying to enforce the law, bringing crime? I do not understand the notion of that.
Liberal logic.
Mm-hmm.
I just explained it. I mean, wow.
Yeah, because they won't say illegal immigrant. They won't say that. They say immigrant or undocumented or, things like that, in order to downplay the fact that the people who are here illegally committed a crime. Because if they admit that they admitted a crime, then you're justifying. Now they've justified the action of federal agents, so they can't do that.
All right, so we're about halfway through the show. So you guys want to pivot, or do we want to keep riding this horse? And
No, I definitely want to pivot, because we're talking Trump tonight and what's going on with that. So I'd love to talk about the Venezuelan thing. I think there's a lot of controversy out there of what's going on, and honestly, what the importance of it is. I don't know if a lot of the prepper survivalists who listen to the show, maybe they don't. Maybe a lot of them have been following. I think you have to follow in order to understand it completely. So let's see if we can dive into that.
All right, so Venezuela. So were we just for going in and snatching Maduro? Should we use a little bit of more diplomacy? Maybe put a carrot down a stick and try to get him, out there, which is what I feel happened. But
but in order to understand why we did what we did, in part, I think we need to talk about the strategic importance of Venezuela itself, the actual country, the land. Venezuela has one of the largest oil deposits and one of the largest gold deposits and silver deposits in the entire world on the planet.
Pick your mineral.
Yeah. It's a huge strategic importance, especially now that the Panama Canal is back open and I believe under our control. And we're already staging by naming the cartels terrorist organizations. So now you have two potential strategic locations in South America in order to operate out of in case they start pushing militarily and swinging back up. You know what I mean? That's kind of my take on that. So as far as strategic importance and what Venezuela has to offer.
Well, Dave, you've been very quiet this whole time about this, not just tonight, but in general in the chat. What's your feelings on Venezuela?
I think what Trump did was probably the best thing he could do. The olive branch has been extended a number of times, and it wasn't taken. In fact, he said, "No, I'm not doing it. Come and get me, Maduro." He said, "Come and get me." So, if for Trump to save face, he had to do something. What I think is awesome about it is it proved to Russia and China that your shit doesn't stink because we can turn off all your equipment and do what we got to do. So, I mean, on so many different areas, it was the right thing to do, I think. proof in the pudding is Russia sent all those ships and that sub to escort that tanker, and they didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything.
We still took it.
We still took it, and there's 3 more that they're looking for.
Yeah, they chased that tanker all over the place, and finally, I guess Russia came in and decided they were going to try and help it along, and it didn't work.
It didn't work.
So do you think we could have caught it at any time and done what we've done at any time, or was it strategic where it happened? I mean, because it was between the English Isles out off the coast of Scotland and Greenland. So is there any?
Well, if you think about it, it was close to Greenland. We already had people there. They didn't have to move any resources. We had everything in place. So if we needed help, that was there.
So you think there was some strategic posturing going on?
Oh, a lot of that is. Same thing. The whole issue with Greenland is strategic posturing. Someone that I talk to infrequently here locally said it's almost like each area is designating their hemisphere and telling everybody else, okay, this is mine, stay the hell over in yours. And everybody's marking their territory, and that's kind of what Trump's been doing too. That's why he said, like Cuba's next, because that's in our part of the hemisphere. Not that they have a whole lot there.
He's saying that the Americas are ours, like from the top to the bottom. And I understand that it is controversial, but it is the truth. This is our side of the planet.
That's our hemisphere. Yep.
Well, and
he's already written the UK off. He's written Europe off. They're dead because they won't do what they need to do to get rid of the problems that they're having, again, with immigration. But they're not taking those steps to rectify the situation. In fact, they're kind of just letting it go. Germany tried, but fell on their face. Look at London. It's like New York here.
Yeah, it's filled with liberals.
Yeah, and
woke. I want to say liberal. Yeah, I say woke liberals is what it's filled with.
Very much woke.
That's the problem.
And even their prime minister doesn't really care. Yeah.
So, do you feel like Cuba's next? Is that what?
Well, there's Cuba. I think Nicaragua is one of them too. That he's listed there. There was another one that off the top of my head, I can't recall. Even Sarah, she mentioned them, and that they were, on the list of places that could go next. And Russia's a little bit pissy about that because Cuba
and China. You're right. Cuba is a launching place for them. That's a good place for them to be for our whole East Coast. Actually, the Southeast. I heard the president say when they went into Caracas, when they went to Venezuela to extract him, they did a bunch of bombing, and nobody on our side died. Lots of people on their side died, and those lots of soldiers that were on their side, he said, were Cuban. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but you can blame that on Russia, kind of like Russia bringing in all the North Koreans and sending them out there for cannon fodder. Oh, I see what you're saying. They were placed there to help. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Why give up your people when you can use someone else's? Right. And in the name of, you're helping, we'll help you get what you want if you help us do this. There people get wasted, and Russia's going, sorry, Charlie.
I think if, Trump, to me, he projects what he's going to do. He says it. There's nothing that he says that that he doesn't try or come true. And, he said this. Well, eventually it happens. And he called it the other day the Don Roe doctrine, like the Monroe doctrine from way back, and speak softly, carry a big stick, policy that we had, gunboat diplomacy, all from back in the day, and Greenland's part of that whole plan. So, plus the whole, all of the Americas in general. So, with Canada and Mexico. So what do you think that he's going to make that happen? I mean, how do you feel about that? As far as he can do it legally, he'll make it happen. Well, I mean, he's going to have to rob it. I mean, just to be frank about it, he's going to have to go do things. But do you feel like he's trying to bring us back from overseas and just work within our hemisphere as protection goes?
Well, it's not even just that. He's trying to cut us off from the teat, so to speak. We've been sucking on China for how long? All these countries that are just taking advantage of us. Well, now that the tariffs and stuff are in place, we're starting to feel it. And companies here are saying, okay, well, we can't deal with this. We're going to have to produce this here. So we're getting back to our own industrial roots a little bit. It's going to be slow coming. It's going to be painful, but that's kind of what he's done with China. Now, the rest of it, that's going to be an interesting thing to figure out, because some of it, it's not blatantly obvious why. Other than like Greenland, it's a good place for us to be. Resources, it's a landing place. Commerce, trade routes. For countries over there that we do want to deal with, and it cuts off, our Persian countries.
Well, Venezuela used to be such a beautiful place. Venezuela was probably one of the richest, I don't know this for sure, but probably one of the richest countries on the planet at one time. They have an immense amount of oil, and these corrupt governments that they've had have been taking that oil and selling it to Russia and all these other different places, and taking that money and pocketing it and not giving it to their people. That's just one of the biggest reasons why their economy went totally bust. And they experienced an SHTF situation, a collapse, a societal collapse, like the ones that Prepper Survivalists talk about all the time that can happen in the United States. Trump would never allow that to happen.
We were close.
We were close. The Democrats will let that happen because it gives them power and the people no power. And that's what they want. They'll do it in the name of democracy, but we're not a democracy. We're a republic. But you take something like Venezuela and you go in there and you fix it. I mean, it's a big problem. It's a big challenge. It's a puzzle. If he goes in there and he fixes it, he gets out the corruption, takes the oil, sells it at the highest price to the right people, and gives that money back in the right way, gives the money back to Venezuelan people, the right way, and brings their economy back up and fixes them. Other countries in our hemisphere are going to see that, and they're going to say, whoa, that's powerful. We want to have some of that. Maybe you can help us next. Like Mexico. Get rid of all the corruption, the cartels, all that. It's a big job. It's a war. You get rid of all that and you make Mexico beautiful again. Mexico's got one of the most beautiful people that there are. Their culture is amazing, but they're just squashed by cartels and corruption, and everybody in power is corrupt in Mexico. Fix it.
Just making everything repressed.
Yes, exactly. And they're our closest neighbor, Canada and Mexico.
Well, the same thing goes for like Cuba.
Yeah, sure.
Well, look at Iran. Iran's people are doing it on their own, but they're in the same boat.
And Trump said if any of those Iranian protesters die, he's going in. I just saw him say it. He was on Air Force One. He said it to the press. He said, "Look, they got to be careful. If any of those people die, there's a big problem. We're going in."
Oh, speaking of that area, Putin has said that the IRC might just be putting preemptive strikes on Tel Aviv by the end of January. And Russia has removed all of their dignitaries from Israel, and so has China.
I mean, it's a whole nother podcast, but I feel like there needs to be a follow-up to, are we actually in World War III? And stay tuned because that's coming.
I think we're kind of on that leg. There's several groups that are out there that are also like us, OSNI groups, that are actually making noise about that, saying that we're already in the middle of it. It's just nobody's gone kinetic yet. It's still cyber warfare for a good portion of it.
Well, I want to give.
We've even got the Arabs fighting with Syria.
It's a shit show, man. I mean,
Prepper Survivalists need to be aware. We really do, as a group. We need to be aware in our country, around the world too, and we have a lot of listeners from other countries. We do have to be aware of what's going on, because we're at the closest point that we've probably ever been in a long time to needing those preps and those skills and the things that we talk about all the time. I want to quickly just say Jeremy's computer crashed, which is why he's been silent. He looks like he's trying to get on his cell phone, but I have no way of bringing him on. So I'm not sure. It's green across the board. I'm just not sure why he's not able to speak on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking with him offline, but yeah, it didn't look good for him.
I'm sure he's just chomping at the bit. He wants to jump into the conversation right now.
Oh man, this is one that.
This is his stuff.
But yeah, you shouldn't talk about Tim Walz like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm probably next. I'm scared to go light a match outside.
They can't find me, so screw them.
Oh, they know where you're at.
Well, you said you talked about UK before, Dave, but I just heard that the United States is loading up, man, in UK. We're like bringing all kinds of planes and hardware, all kinds of stuff over there. What's going on?
That's because of Iran. Even Australia has pulled their dignitaries out of Israel.
It's a launching point for a lot of things. I mean, think about posturing to go into Greenland. Now, that's a lot of talk about that. And that's all I've heard since Monday morning when I woke up is Greenland, and they're telling their Dutch soldiers that you can shoot an American on sight and all this other shit. But
hey, whoa. That's a big statement. Greenland's telling their own law enforcement that they can kill Americans?
There's a 1952 law, Dutch law, I think it's 1952. I don't think it's 32. I believe it's 52, that said something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, that they can defend Greenland without having to like shoot first, ask later, ask forgiveness later, whatever kind of thing. To defend Greenland. So, but it goes all the way back to 1952. So, it came up in some stuff I was reading. Now, I'm trying to get us to think, strategically here. What's the importance of England and as a launching point when you have Diego Garcia closer to the Middle East? What's the importance of England? Now, I am in a chat group with a bunch of guys from Europe. And it gets spicy at times, and I have to defend the good old USA. I love all you guys over there from overseas. Just know that I say stuff and it's my opinion, and I respect your opinion and respect mine, and we're all good. Stop name calling.
Bring them on the show. We'll let them speak their piece.
Yeah, and they're good about not name calling. So, and we've worked a lot of things out, but they're passionate and they're scared. I mean, they've got a reason to be, really. I won't say scared.
I would not want to be living in the UK.
Concerned because we have these giant oceans. On fire. Yeah, we have these giant oceans between us. They don't. I mean, they're right there, and so I enjoy their back and forth and the OSINT they produce, and it's good stuff, and I'm learning a lot and hopefully making some friends and not so many enemies. But hey, shout out to you guys over in Frank's prepper group over there in your chats, and keep it up, man. I'm enjoying myself. So
I like listening to Frank. Back to your question with the UK, I don't think it's just the Middle East. I think it's also being there for our NATO countries that actually do their part and not getting out of control, like Poland's doing.
England was instrumental with Intel, and I believe they had military assets in that region, like as backup for that. What was it? What was that called? That tanker that was seized. The Russian tanker, the one that had many flags since it was,
yeah, that was
That's not Sophia.
Sophia, yeah.
Bella.
Oh no, Bella. It was Bella.
It was a Bella.
Yeah, and I heard they flagged it Russian and painted a huge Russian.
They did, yeah.
On the side of it.
They changed the name too.
Oh, wow!
Which is illegal.
They painted a wrong name across it. They turned off their transponders. They changed their flags. All of that is maritime. It's illegal.
So what is it? What is in the payload in that thing? And I've been saying this over and over. There's a reason why they hauled ass. There's a reason why they took off the run. It's not oil. You can replace.
It could have been just the intelligence on board because they were empty.
There's something there.
You look at the ship; they were empty. They were riding high in the water.
Okay, but are they really empty? Is there something in there that's not oil?
Oh, are you talking about like a bomb?
There could be something in there.
EMP? I mean, something.
Is it gold? Is it drugs? Is it something else?
I see
what's in there. And
we're gonna know now, right? We got it.
We hope we know.
Well, we haven't heard anything yet, and that's kind of disconcerting too, because we have it, and that's all you've heard.
And they've especially with the Chinese ships, they've gone out and they found when the stuff they've looked at, they've seized. They're altering their tankers. They're altering the ships to where they have, I would call it berth. I'm not a mariner at all, but they have these fake berths in there that's where they're smuggling the drugs and the other things in these fake berths, so they might be
way they do
carrying
with trucks and cars and buses and trains,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, it's a smuggling thing, and but what is it? Gold? Is it cash? What is it with this one ship that they, that was so important that the Russians would go to World War III and protect? What is it? Is it a is this where they drew the line in the sand?
Well, they backed down, so my guess is it was a bluff anyway.
It could have been a bluff, who knows? But time will tell, I guess. But I just keep going back and saying, what was it with this? Because that's not normal behavior. I don't think.
Well, see, we've been tracking that ship for quite a while.
Yeah.
And watched where it went, where it came back to, the whole 9 yards. And like those other 3 ships that dished out, when we went in, they snuck out. And when they snuck out, they started spoofing their locators.
Signal. Yeah.
Yep. So it was saying, well, we're over here, but actually they're over there. And we're going to this direction, but we're actually going in the opposite direction. So, that's why I said they're still looking for those. And I think they know where they're at. They've got their hands full with the 2 that they do have. Because they took Sophia too. And we haven't heard anything about Sophia.
Yeah, it's
well, so what was it? Was it Sophia? I think Sophia was the one where the transponder was turned off when it was full, and when the transponder came back on, like 24 hours later, whatever it was empty.
It was completely empty.
So they were thinking that they offloaded it onto other ships.
That's quite possible.
Yeah. So who knows?
Oh, is that Jeremy's dog?
No, that's actually my dog. Sorry.
Oh, we have a new mascot.
Yeah.
One falls away, one picks up.
I have a feeling FedEx probably just showed up. Either that or those sheep are back. But
that's bad.
Yeah, so our mascot should be the sheep.
Dude, Jeremy, where are you, man? Jump back on. I see you there. What's going on?
Yeah, he can't get back on with his phone. It's not working for him.
Oh man. Well, he's got to fix his computer. I mean, reboot it.
All right, so I guess we're at a good transition point. Do you guys want to add anything else to the Venezuela thing?
No,
or the ships?
I think we've cooked that.
Okay, let's put that horse back in the stall here. So the last one that I'd like to talk about is, what do you think about all these? Mondani, being the Democratic Socialists or the communists that are leading these different cities, or states. I mean, and I got a list of them here I want to kind of rattle off. So you got Katie Wilson in Seattle. I think she took over or took control. I don't know if she's been there for a year or took over the 1st of January, but she's in Seattle. You got Mondani in New York. You got Larry Aragon, or I guess I'm saying it right. Agron. Larry Agron is in Irvine, California. Karen Bass in Los Angeles. Emma Mulvaney Stanek in Burlington, Vermont, which is a great place if you want to go get some ice cream. But I wouldn't stay there very long if you have cowboy hat on or cowboy boots. For reasons, I said that. Nikki Perez of Burbank, California. You got Eduardo Martinez of Richmond, California. And Mark Elrich from Montgomery County, Maryland. These are people who claim to be, and not they're the dyed-in-the-wool socialists or communists that are out there. And I mention all of them, and this isn't all of them, but I mentioned this many people because if you look back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, there wasn't hardly any. So there's a trend out there. So I'm trying to point out a trend.
Yeah, there's a trend for sure. And I grew up. A lot of my growing up took place in New Jersey, just a few miles off of New York. So I know New York, and I know New Yorkers, and I'm telling you, there was a difference back then. New Yorkers used to be so patriotic, and I mean that in the way of they would never allow somebody like Mondani, a Muslim socialist, to get in charge. They never would have allowed that to happen. Something has definitely changed over the years.
Well, yes, I was there, left in 2007. I was there right after 9/11, and was a New York, I call myself a New Yorker, whatever, married a New Yorker. We lived there for, that amount of time. And, it was very patriotic. You had people buying, and I was in uniform at the time in the city, and people were buying me coffee, patting me on the back, shaking my hand, a few people were, baby killers, giving me that kind of bullshit. But for the most part, everybody was very patriotic. The native New Yorkers were all patriotic. Now, we're talking second, third generation Italians, Irish,
and even the Muslims back in the day when I was here, and that was way before you. Even the Muslims were American Muslims. They weren't this radical Islamic hate America type of a Muslim.
Well, and that changed after 9/11, believe me, because I worked in downtown Brooklyn and right by a huge mosque, and the North American headquarters for Hamas was at my second office. I could throw a rock and hit, the other one, and both of them actually from both offices, and very different experience, a few years later, I guess.
I think the bottom line is going to be what happens at midterms. If the Democrats win, for the most part, in midterms, Trump's gone. They're going to impeach him over and over and over again for every single thing he does until the Senate approves it and he's gone.
Yeah.
They won't stop. They will not stop. They'll just keep going. And Trump said himself, he could have easily impeached Biden, no problem.
Yes.
I saw this the other day with he's a state senator in Virginia. He's a Green Beret, and his name slips me. He does these little shorts or whatever, and he was drinking coffee on all of them and stuff. And he basically said, "We're fed up now. We're done." So it's going to start happening. You know what I mean? We're going to start showing up. Basically, it happened in Portland. We started showing up to the protests where, they were out there being a pain in the ass to ICE. Well, then all these, conservative podcasters came out there and said, hey, this is what they're doing. And then conservatives start showing up, and then all of a sudden they're not as tough. You know what I mean?
Well, conservatives are conservative. We keep calm as much as we possibly can. But I can tell you right now, push that over the line.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting. That's why I think Trump's doing the right thing, because he's encouraging people to stand their ground, say what they mean, and mean what they say, versus this, hiding behind politics, doing it the right way, according to the rule book. It's got to come sooner than later, or like, Keith said, Trump's going to get squashed. We got to stop them from breaking the rules by correcting the system, or do the same things they are.
Well, I mean, here's an example of correcting the way that, correcting the rules. You got Texas, redistricting after, the whole redistricting thing has been a problem. And they're like, oh, they're weaponizing, they're going to steal the election by weaponizing the voting system.
Well, haven't they ever started? I mean, didn't California just redistrict as well?
California did that.
They've been doing it for years. Every one of the NAACP goes out and sues to get, a larger city. That's why we got these Democratic bastions and red cities and states and stuff, because they've redistricted the shit. They got in power. They redistricted it because it's fair. We got to make it look like it's fair.
It's amazing that California has so many votes in Congress, but means so little to most of the rest of the United States. I never think about California. They're not in my head.
Look how many seats they have. The Senate, they've got 2, but look at the House. I mean, and that's the problem. We got all these seats that are out there, and from these different states. I mean, if Texas ever flips, man, it could be over.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it would definitely be over. It's massive, man. Plus, they'd redistrict even more, add more seats.
We'll all be moving to Keith's house.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're one lost election away from it being over in civil war. I mean,
absolutely.
That's my opinion. Okay, so
can they
you know,
go out? Can they go after Ilham Omar? I hope I'm saying that right. Ilham Omar, is that her name?
they never do anything.
They can't.
She got rich. She went from $1 million dollars to like 30 something million dollars in 1 year's time. There's got to be some corruption going on there.
There got to be some dirt.
AOC did it. Nancy Pelosi did it. I mean, they all do it, and they protect each other.
I can guarantee you, I would have to prove it if I went from $1 million to $32 million in 1 year. Somebody would come after me and say, "How'd you do that?"
IRS would, because you're common, but you're not a protected class, and that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, let's not go into the IRS.
They're going to take down the Somalian corruption that's happened in Walz's state. They're going to take that down.
You think?
They already started.
But the thing is that's because it's on a federal level. And right now we have the votes to do it.
And it's hot.
And it's a hot thing. But it's also a great misdirection from what's going on overseas.
Yeah, you're right. And so, optics are everything. And so there's a lot of misdirection going on out there. But, at the end of the day, we got to ask ourselves, okay, so we've been on here yapping for an hour talking about, you talk about in the barbershop, but how does that affect a prepper? You're prepping for something. You live this lifestyle, and prepping is a lifestyle. Your preparedness lifestyle. So how do you take the information we gave you here and take it and be better informed and use it? I mean, that's the question.
For me, I would say that there's a healthy amount of fear that I have for America and the world and the whole situation. It's something that I'm paying attention to, but I feel like I don't have a whole lot of control over. My vote is the only way that I can control it. So that's the way I do it. But I feel that right now, there has never been a more urgent time to get yourself ready.
But Keith, our guy's in office.
Doesn't matter.
I know, but
everything's good. Our guy's there. He's going to fix everything. What do you mean? I don't have to go out and buy any more food and stuff. It's there.
That's true. But didn't Jeremy say that in good times is the times that we tend to slack off?
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at here. I'm being very facetious there.
And I've actually stepping up.
Oh yeah, you got to put your foot on the gas at this point, because I mean we're all old enough to know that we've seen the ebb and flow of politics, and just the recent 40 years, or we're telling our age here. But we're going to go back 20 years. It's just an ebb and flow thing, and certain people are in office. It's certain things happen. Other people, certain things happen. So to me, I've started the year out and prepping, and we've had the podcast about what our goals are and stuff like that. But this year's is I'm putting the foot on, not the brake. I'm putting the foot on the gas, especially in the areas that I identified as being, my weak points.
Yeah, I did some studying this week also about, and I'm going to attempt to do it, the whole gardening thing that, that we're doing here on Homestead. I'm looking into how I can do a lot of the plants that I did. This is food that we eat, okay, that we don't have to buy in the grocery store, that we're not dependent on. I'm looking at a way of doing that actually in the house. A few of the items that are in my garden, I can't obviously do stuff like corn, but things like maybe tomatoes, peppers for sure, all kinds of lettuces. We're going to try and do some of that, not all of it, some of it in the house, so that we can get a good feel for what an urban prepper could do in their house if they don't have land and that sort of thing.
And speaking with that, I'm growing peppers right now in two little hydroponic, countertop hydroponic systems, and getting, I don't know, maybe 3 peppers, just jalapenos.
It's producing in the winter.
It's producing in the winter. I've done herbs like that before, and I've also done what's the first year I did? Russian red kale, just because I love that shit. It's like my snack.
It's good.
And I put it in everything. But I'd like to, know Dave's point of view on this, about how, he said he's putting his foot on the gas too.
That's easy. I'm learning more on top of what I've already built on. Like Keith is with the gardening. I'm not so much looking for indoors, but how much more I can generate in the small space that I have. Stuff that I can store easily. Like, we did a lot of pod beans, so that I can, dry them and then backpack them, and they're good for the next
awesome.
20 years. My canning skills, I've even got my stepdaughter interested in canning. She's wanting to do that. Well, we've been playing with the sourdough. She's really good at it. I'm improving on it. And like you guys already know, I do my own breads. I do my own soaps. I do my own canning. I do my own reloading.
Oh, wow. Reloading. Okay. That's something right there, Dave.
Well, let me tell you, I just stumbled onto a really good deal on primers, and I bought more on top of what I already had. I'm stocking up in that way. I'm collecting brass again, which I haven't done in a long time.
A little birdie told me to buy ammo and buy it now because 6 months it's going to look like the pandemic but worse. So
Oh yes, precisely. As primers, if you're reloading, primers and gunpowder and bullets. Bullets right now are expensive. If you can do your own bullets and casting, invest in lead, invest in the copper jackets for the copper gas checks if you can, or alternatives. You can learn how to make your own, which I've done. So, but powder right now is even more affordable than it was before. I mean, instead of $80 for a pound, it's $50 for a pound.
Buddy, you didn't tell me that Dave had skills.
Man, I've seen his work and he's good.
This is a guy you want in your mag group right here.
Yeah, he's got mad skills. He's not just a
talking head.
No, I'm not a talking head.
So I ask this question about every guest. What's your everyday carry?
My everyday carry? It depends on where I'm at, but usually I have a Glock 19 Gen 3 that's been modified for my crazy paws because I southpaw, so I have everything switched around, and I have a ghost trigger in it so that I can control it with my corporal tunnel. I also have a Glock 30 that if I have to be where it's really tight to my body, because that thing's small, and I can put Glock 21 mags in it, so I can have 13 rounds of 45 ACP. And then I have a Glock 17 that has a hollow sun sitting on top of it, that if I'm going someplace, I wear that in a shoulder holster, and I have a 1911. It all depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing.
My prepper brothers and sisters, these powerful individuals that we vote into public office have a direct effect on our lives and how we live those lives. As preppers, voting is one of our superpowers. How, why, and when we prep is very much influenced by the leaders we vote into office. Now is not the time to slow down with your prepping. Like Dave said, it's time to press on the gas, not the brakes. In my opinion, President Trump is not playing the roulette wheel. Trump is the wheel, and where that ball lands on that wheel is a calculated, measured decision that so far appears to be moving America in a forward positive direction, and in turn moving the world forward as well. Of course, I could be wrong. Stay prepped, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.